let's jump right in and find out who's got what it takes to better their fortunes and to make day 2.
Here we go, opening carousel. Of course, not everything to be decided at this point, but I'm already turning my eyes towards Magic, and it is Magic they pick up in the form of a needlessly large rod.
Yeah, Magic, assuming that MHStana is completely up to date, which I think they are, brubbba and Magic are the kind of the two players I'll be looking at most closely here, with the potential to really secure their places. I believe that, let's see, so Magic came into this one as 27th position, so they're going to need to hit at least top 1 or 2 to be able to make it through. For brubbba, they came in as 17th seed, just below the cutoff, so they've got a good chance.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty hard for Magic to pull that back, certainly without a victory. For brubbba, however, that's certainly a bit more possible. So let's have a little look what we're getting in the early game for our friend brubbba.
All right,
nothing.
brubbba.
Absolutely nothing.
We've got a lot of Astrals, if you were feeling so inclined. I want to see some Astrals today.
Oh man, we've seen a couple of lobbies where people have run Astral 3 at the very most, but realistically, we don't see any more than that. It's one of the weakest possible traits you can go for right now, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, we've got a trainer set up from 1-4, so that's always going to be the way to go. If you get the option, there's not really a world in which you're not going to take it. I mean, you mentioned you haven't seen a lot of Astral. That I did spot a couple of players over a couple of rounds running Nidalee reroll, which in both cases did not do well.
No, you've not seen anything inside the top 4, except for maybe one game where there was an Astral 3 with a mage composition, if I remember correctly, but that's about the best we've seen from it. Unfortunately, this patch has not been kind to the Astrals, much as it hasn't been kind to Xayah, who we've talked a lot more about. Over here, however, things looking quite sharp for our friend brubbba. As they look towards their first augment, they are very quick to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, the Thieves' Gloves, with the changes to make it better in the late game, is pretty much an auto grab under most circumstances. It's, you've just got another itemized carry that at least half the time is going to have worthwhile items, and the other half will just be fine. So I like this for brubbba. Again, it's an all-game investment. We'll check back in, though, of course, with Magic, the other player we're watching for, as we have got ourselves an early Guardian set up. Does this mean... No, I thought we might actually have the Electric Mirage, but instead we got Spell Swords Enchantment. So we're going to be sticking with Guardians in some form for the entire game for Magic.
You would certainly expect so, considering what they've taken as the augment. I'm not sure that's the strongest of things to push towards what essentially needs to be a top 1 position, but I could be proved wrong, and I have been today, certainly when talking about Yasuo and Morel Nomicon. So, there's plenty of room to maneuver as we look towards day 2.
So the big thing for, the Guardian 4 setup is definitely pretty good, though I always feel a little bit sad when you've got augments that cause you to run less of a unit that you would want to have more of. In this case, the more Guardians you have, the better having these Guardian shields is. So only running 3 Guardians means you've got less of a front line, but the Karma backline with no items at all is good enough to beat Slicks, who is only level 3.
Especially the Ionic Spark measured on top of it as well, just draining that magic resist and making it easier for the few Soul Flames that do come out of the Karma to be that little bit more effective. Still think there's room for a bit of a pivot in terms of what they do with this Guardian Crest, but even so, yeah, I'm not sold just yet, Peter.
So I'm just checking on some of the points we've got, because unfortunately we can't actually bring those into the stream very easily. AKA Magic is on 21 points. Currently the cut-off is 22 to be able to be in the top half of the field, so the results for this game will be very, very important for them. For brubbba, they are in the same position, the same amount of points, both on 21. So keep your eyes out for brubbba and AKA Magic. If they finish in the top 4, they'll likely make it through. If not, then not.
Well, I think, certainly based on the early game, I think things are looking better for brubbba, not just because of the fact they've not taken loss just yet, just what they've been given with their early setup. We do see Magic ripping through that Volibear, who already got the Shim Scale item equipped. Stana taking a loss on this one. We know Stana's already had a bit of a rough time, so not entirely surprising to see them having a bit of a loss early on here.
Still, though, getting early access to the Draven's Axe is obscene in terms of raw power. If you just have some good rounds where you can have Volibear wailing wave for the long term, then you've got yourself a huge burst of gold, you've got yourself an extra component, so you can build towards a late game Shimmer Scale comp. The Assassin Heart being picked up here is very interesting. I don't know if it's going to let Stana win the rounds, though.
Okay. We'll keep our eyes peeled on this one, just as we do, and we watch this shim scale damage come through from Draven's axes. Someone asking in regards to Decisive Way, and I am pretty confident in saying that as a result of good results in previous games, they are odds on to make it through tomorrow. Is that right?
Decisive Way, yeah, they're on 29 points. Unless they have an abominable game, they're pretty much guaranteed. In fact, they're probably still guaranteed. So, I guess, yeah.
Good news for Decisive Way fans out there.
Yeah, so to give you guys an overview of the points right now, YLCO is on 33. They're the top scoring player in the entire competition right now. Zuyan and Laser Octopus on 31 apiece. Decisive Way on 29. Stana just below them, who we've got in this game. We can see not doing the best right now, but 27 points means they're pretty secure. Slicks, Joshi, Stag just below them. Temlozz, Tian, and a whole lot more. But that gives you an idea at least about the top of the lobby. You can always go and check out using the command standings, I believe, or maybe it's bracket. I have to double check. That will take you to the page.
Then you can have a little look to the scores as well from a link on that. My apologies to Stan, who I said had been doing poorly, but of course they have not. Actually, it's just in this game that things aren't going so well for them, but there's plenty of time still. We're only on the second carousel after all.
Yeah. All right, let's keep looking around and seeing what we've got going on here. So we've spent a little bit of time with... actually, no, we haven't. So brubbba had the early trainer setup here. It looks like we're actually going to be seeing trainer mages, which is definitely one of our less traveled roads.
Double Thieves Gloves as well. Interesting starting setup. Putting them both onto the Bruisery champions. That's definitely going to be staying with the Silas. And I expect something slightly different to come out on top of where the Shen are currently a little bit later. But having the Steadfast presence early on, spoken about it before, provides so much value early on, especially when it's got a Frozen Heart draining the attack speed of the nearbys.
Yeah, I do like, and of course, Assassin players absolutely love it. Definitely one of the more controversial items. Just because of how incredibly annoying it can be when a Frozen Heart lands on your backline. Still, on the front line, it's pretty good. What it's doing for brubbba is slowing down the speed of the round considerably, which, of course, when you've got a Rise sitting in your backline scaling up infinitely, is only a good thing.
And we're going to see that Rise ultimate coming through. It will be doubled up. Should be enough to secure a pretty easy victory here for brubbba, who's continuing that win streak going towards the Krugs. Decisive Way unable to keep their win streak going, however, takes their first loss, albeit a small one.
All right, yeah, brubbba certainly on the right path towards managing to punch through to day number 2. But check out what Stana is up to, because they have switched things around, and I like the change here. We've got the Draven's Axe and the Giant Slayer on to our friend Swain, and we haven't been seeing much Swain reroll so far today at all.
Yeah, it's that much more light to get stacked up quickly rather than the Volley Bear, which we were seeing getting killed off a little too soon to get those stacks, and so Stana will hopefully be happy with that. Let's turn our attention back to Magic briefly, if that's possible, Peter, because they're the other person who we want to see if they can finish inside the top 2, currently lying in 3rd.
There we go. My reading comprehension has gone down. You said Magic and I start looking for M. It was an A after the whole time. Against Decisive with their so yeah, we got the pile of Guardians versus the pile of Guardians. Decisive, though, I think they're making a bit better use of this huge amount of defensive meat shield by having a stacking Karma in the backline with the Archangels.
Does make a lot of sense, and I think it's going to be enough to eat through the remaining health bars of the Cannoneers, but at the same time, things still starting relatively strongly for AK Magic. It's interesting that they're having to contest those Guardians with someone so early on. I feel like this is the first time we've seen that today.
Yeah, it's very strange, and I think what we're also seeing across today, and we'll see across the whole of tomorrow as well, as we have in every tournament, is our players adapting to, the meta on hand, what people are playing. I think in this case, it has occurred to our players that maybe Guardians should be an uncontested line of play. Unfortunately, it occurred to more than one player at once.
I think that's pretty much what's happened, but it's still working out relatively well for them as they both find themselves, I was going to say in the top 4, but actually AK Magic dropping to 5th just before this neutral round. And yeah, just it's a slow, steady start for pretty much all these players. The 1 or 2 players we have to be worried for at the minute are Stolp and Stana, who have dropped nearly 40 hit points apiece.
A further update on the points, Vulpix is on 20, so we are still pretty close between the players. Just going through and gathering up points to see who is coming threat and who is not. Temlozz on 26, so they're pretty much out of the woods. Stolp, as I said before, they have plummeted down to 30th out of 32 with just 14, so they aren't so much of a consideration. but we'll keep updating you guys as we get the new information in, and hopefully we'll have ourselves some relatively accurate numbers by the time we're done with the game.
Counterfeit, I'm sure there's some people out there who are like, why aren't these casters getting hyped and shocked about seeing this siphon so early? It's because it's happened so many times today. This is about the 4th of 6 games where we've actually had like the early stage 3s having just a level 5 dragon, and exactly the dragon that people want, just coming straight out the bat. And it's not surprising anymore, but it's still effective, especially when you're already getting item components towards all of those key siphon items.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's the thing, you know, we're grizzled veterans of the casting scene now. We're just not impressed by anything. It does feel like, you know, from what we've seen so far, in nearly every lobby we're seeing somebody's getting their dragon really early.
Yeah, and it's leading more often than not to a top 4 finish, but not always towards those top 1 finishes, which you'd expect. People getting the early dragon and then just not finding the 2-star until later on into the game. The thing I've enjoyed watching the most has been the trade of dragons. Seeing Deja swapped out for Shyvana's, getting those rage wings in and making the most of those items has actually turned into 2 victories in our previous 5 games today. So really nice usage. Draven's Axe, only 7 stacks left on it until cash out.
I mean, I really, really like the setup here. Now, yeah, we're now trying to push the front line again. The Shimmer Scale Heart coming in, and a Spatula there as well. MHStana, if they want to make a Shimmer Scale 9 composition, that option is very much open to them.
Indeed. Again, Twitch chat calling out some fun things. That 2-star Ornn really, really early, going to be so useful for Stana, who themselves had been having a pretty rough time things in terms of their health early on, but they're going to get the Call of the Forge God here. It's going to knock up that early Siphon, who's only got the 1.5 items. They're going to get ripped through by the Giant Slayer of the Swain. And there we have it. It is going to be health, well, not restored for Stana, but certainly preserved.
For sure. And, you know, with that 2-star Ornn in consideration as well, we might even be seeing, maybe once we hit level 7, maybe, well, no, we've got the possibility of Legend coming in here. There's a lot of pretty, honestly, garbage units being played from the Shimmer Scale side of things. We're at Shimmer Scale 4 right now, which we really don't need to, well, we're not getting any benefit from at all. So, even as a stopgap measure on the way to Shimmer Scale 9, I'd love to see the Nivea showing up and making this into a Legend come.
I guess that is a real viable possibility. What we've just seen is the Swain being sold so that we can get the Giant Slayer onto the Volibear. This, however, has taken Dragonmancer away from him because it's only Dragon 2 now. We are going to see the boosted damage coming in. However, not sure that Volibear is going to have what it takes this time around. We're seeing the health bars being rinsed through from Stana. They're going back to losing ways, and it's against Stolp, who was one of their closest. Oh, sorry, other way around. Stolp is going to take the loss here. I don't even know what happened there. I thought that was... it's 6 games. I'm tired, okay?
I understand that. So, just to recap, because I've been doing a little bit of research on the side. We've got 3 players I'm particularly looking for. AK Magic, brubbba, and Vulpix. They're on 21 or 20 points respectively. We've got a lot of other players in the lobby who are basically qualified already. Temlozz, Stana, and Decisiveway. They've all basically gotten there with their previous round performances, so it really only matters what we're seeing from the players who are on the bubble.
And those players, all apart from really Magic, who's dropped off a little bit in the last few rounds, doing okay at the moment, but it's brubbba who's really got to be happy with how things are going. We've followed them quite closely. We've seen how those double sleeve gloves have paid off in the early, and now they're making some changes, bringing in the Idus, but then transferring it back out again, happy with their existing Thieves gloves and selling the Idus off.
Alright, so let's take a quick check back in with Decisiveway. There we go. So we've got Mirage, and that Mirage is Spell Swords. Because I don't think we actually talked about that as of yet, but that is a very good setup. And of course, Cavaliers and Mirage, they go together like cream cheese and custard.
Sorry, what now?
That's right. You just got educated.
I'm not sure educated is the right word for what I just got. All I know is that with this Deja trying to rip damage through, there's the opportunity here for brubbba to take the loss, but Decisivewaytft, it's good damage out, and not enough. Brubba's still surviving.
I do like this from brubbba because, you know, people have more or less written off mages for the most part. Let's go a quick sort of deeper dive on what brubbba's doing here because it's working really well for them. So 3 mage right now. I think it's in a really good spot because you basically just got 3 mages you even want to run in the first place. Silas, who's hiding up to the side of the screen and refuses to come back again. I don't know. Wait.
Silas has been once again imprisoned by the Demacian forces, has been sent back to jail, and brubbba cannot get them to return for love or money.
No, they've been joined by Shen. I think we're thinking with General Strike above us, Braun.
What's about to happen is the big question. This isn't just a spectator bug, because brubba's clearly a bit stressed about it as well. They're not coming back.
No, there we go.
Right over just in time. Pay was sorted out. Thieves Gloves duo return, arm in arm, so ensue damage is rained down onto Stolp, who's trying to get good damage down with this Kane, but is only going to be able to just about kill off Nomsy before losing the remaining health bars of their units.
Those Thieves Gloves items were ridiculous for Siphon. The Archangels and the Titans together, you could not have asked for better. Brubbba keeps their win streak through stage 2, through stage 3. They're in such a good spot. And again, this is deeply meaningful for Brubbba because they are one of our 3 players with the ability to meaningfully affect their standing in this game.
Yeah, I don't want to go out there and say a win guarantees qualification through to tomorrow for Brubbba, but it will certainly go a long way in helping their cause to trying to push for that. We'll be able to bring the updated scores list hopefully near the end of this broadcast. Coming towards Wolves, we'll see exactly what get picked up. There's a possibility of a Siphon here on the bench for our level 6 Stolp, but they decide against it as they're happy enough with their Rage Wing ways.
Yeah, I mean, again, for Stolp, all it can do is affect who makes it through to the next day by performing, potentially particularly strongly in this game and knocking some other people down a few pegs. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think Stolp, at this point, they've got the world's most ridiculously huge loss streak going. And we're going to be seeing a Kane carry. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I don't think I've ever seen this be successful. This feels a little memey at this point. I'd like to be proved wrong. I don't think I will be. Let's see how Stolp gets on as they go into combat, trying to avoid an 11 loss streak up against Decisivewaytft. The 3-star Kane dashes straight onto the Deja, who is getting ripped through pretty quickly by the damage coming out of said Kane. The assassin wreaking havoc across the backline, meaning that so much of the damage output is lost from Decisivewaytft. The loss streak shall be ended just as soon as Sejuani dismounts Bristle.
So this brings to mind one of the comps we haven't seen so far, which is Olaf. We certainly saw it in the Golden Spatula Cup 2. If you can get these scale scorns set up from your augments, you can have a ludicrously strong comp. We've seen a couple of Olafs sneaking through, but hold that thought because we have got ourselves a prismatic end to our final lobby. It will be the double tone pickup here. What we're going to get?
It's supposedly going to be an assassin, which is obviously exactly what Doctor ordered. It's going to be followed up with, I believe that's another Rage Wing. So
Scale Scorn.
Oh, was it Scale?
The axe is the Scale
absolutely.
Scorn.
My apologies. You're quite right.
To be fair, I always have to check the side of the screen because a lot of these are very similar to each other. So we mentioned that the Scale Scorn, if you can get 2 of them, then you basically just win the game immediately. In this case, that's not going to be possible for Stolp because you can't craft the additional one, but they can at least perhaps throw this onto a Talon or something similar to give them a pretty strong assassin setup.
They may luck out on a future carousel, but with so little health remaining, they're just going to have to keep surviving until them to even give themselves a possibility. Yet again, we're seeing that Kane dashing down onto just the right targets. It does turn its attention away from the Anivia that have been putting out damage, but Anivia is taken down in her prime, and now Kane can burst onto the Nico, whose stone plate is not doing too much with only the 1 unit triggering. However, Kane, being the last man standing, isn't going to be able to fight against the Xiaoyu for long. Stolp taken down 4 HP.
All right, we check in with Brubbba, who is still undefeated. This is ridiculous. You never see this in a competitive game, nearly ever, because the player who's up the top will set the pace for the rest of the lobby, and inevitably, they have to spend gold to keep their winning streak going. But Brubbba is not only keeping their win streak going, but they're also managing to hold on to 40 gold while doing so.
They're doing great, but go back to Stolp for me for 2 reasons. Number 1, I want to see if they've gone to 8. No, they haven't, and they're not even close to the goal needed. They are in chat letting us know that if they go to 8, they can add a 4th on the scale scorn, but unfortunately, that's not an option that's going to present itself to them at the moment. They're going to have to hope they survive with this 3-star Kane. and are going to have to take down this Xayah to do it. That is going to be a nice Tempered Fate blocking out the damage onto the Xayah for a moment. She gets a Feather Recall in, but it's not enough to save the life of the Feather Lady. No Rakan to save her in this game mode. Idas crunching down on towards the Kayn, absorbing a huge amount of damage, and it is going to come down to just how quickly this Kayn can eat through the health bar of the Idas. The Court of Forge God comes through, gets the knock-up onto the Assassin. My number one ban on Summoner's Rift will be the number one kill coming out of Stana, and that is going to be all she wrote for Stolt.
I mean, as we said, it didn't make any difference to the standings overall, but thank you, Stolt, for giving us something memorable to head out of the competition with. It does leave Stana in 7th place, so while that is a little bit interesting, because Stana is on 27 points right now, it's not completely out of the question they could be put in a much more precarious position as far as making the top 16 if they go 7th.
Well, if the likes of brubbba and Magic continue to dominate like they are, and maybe even Vulpix as well, they could get pushed down quite considerably if they drop out in 7th. So I actually think it's really important to focus on what's going to happen to Stana next, as we get an opportunity to have a little look at what brubba's doing. They've lost that win streak, but they are still so exceptionally strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be staying pretty static for a while with what they've gotten. So Stana, who's hit up to 7 Shimmer Scale, and of course, the Shimmer Scale's best friend is the Xayah. We have got Gambler's Blade, we've got Draven's Axe, we've got everything you could ask for, apart from maybe any serious frontline itemization.
Just trying to get my head around. Can I have a quick look at augments here for Stana, please?
Oh, sure. So this is the high-end shopping, the Shimmer Scale Heart and the Assassin Heart. Oh no, sorry, did you want to see it from Magic as well?
No, that was what I wanted to see. I was just getting a little confused because it said that they were allowed 9 units out, but they're level 8, and I was trying to work out why because I couldn't see a Tactician's Crown. But what I want to watch right now is whether or not they're going to be able to eat through the Siphon before it charges one more time. Daisy gets summoned. That's going to help to absorb all the damage coming out from Corki. That's going to get a big win for Stana against Magic.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good setup. If you can't access the Xayah on the back line, I mean, she hasn't got a Quicksilver or anything similar to keep away. It's, oh my god.
Why are they allowed 9 units? What am I missing?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You are correct. There's a Tactician's Crown on that.
Crown, which was just hidden below something earlier on. I honestly, it just blends in with the fire down there. It's been a long day, Peter.
It has. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. So, Chris Chats was like, this guy's blind. And I'm like, you know what? I've called my color casters while casting League blind so many times. I will accept that. Yeah, I was blind.
Well, Stana's going to make us all see what they're capable of. The 2-star Yasuo is, of course, absurdly strong. The front line is still a little bit of a worry, but I think Zoe's Disruption helps effectively provide frontline by stopping the fight for a few seconds.
Yeah.
And it's going to be good enough. I think Stana...
Oh, no!
Xayah's gone!
Fate is the big difference maker on this one. Bard not only lives to tell the tale, but tells the tale of their own greatness, buying time for Deja to rip through the Xayah and secure a crucial win for Vulpix as they try to supersede Stana.
Alright, let's go and check out what Vulpix is up to. So, yes, this is what we saw from afore, the Mirage Cavaliers. The decent setup here, and I believe, if memory serves, let's just double check. It is, yes, the Spell Source Enchantment, which of course is, I think, the most popular of the Mirage setups, and we get to see a good reason why.
We do. Vulpix pushing for those top spots, pushing for a place in tomorrow's matches. They're going to need, I think, having looked at the table, probably going to need 1st or 2nd to make that happen. Same for brubbba. Those are the 2 currently occupying the 1st and 2nd berths. There are going to be players out there desperate to stop them to make sure they secure their own spot. This is going to get pretty tense, Peter.
So Vulpix finds pretty much the strongest setup they're going to get here. They've got room for one more Cavalier, the Hecarim, to put us up to full quality frontline, but Vulpix's money is not looking so good. Stana down at 16, Magic at 26, so Stana, again, more or less through. Magic, one of the 3, looking to try and hold on with everything that they have. They've got themselves the 2 trainers, they've got themselves a very solid Whisper frontline, and of course the Braum as well. The only thing they don't have really is itemization for the Sona, and a 3rd Corki to go for the 2-star.
this is where RNG starts to come into a little bit right now, because who Stana faces right now and who Magic faces right now could have such a massive impact on who goes through to tomorrow. Magic getting a little bit of a tough draw going up here against Decisive TFD. We see the Rageblade Infinity Edge Zaya ripping through the defensive. Silas isn't going to be able to survive much longer. Sona won't get another crescendo. Magic will drop down to 10 HP.
Oh boy, yeah, that was a really rough round. I love, the Giants slaying the Archangels together.
Oh, they won. Ooh. They won. Just right now.
Oh my gosh. Time to do my own observing. It's so stressful. All right.
Oh, you're doing a great job, Peter.
Let's see. Who have we not looked at for a while? Temlozz. What have we got going on here? So, we've kind of got a Deja fulfilling the same function that the Corki would normally be doing here.
Yep, pretty much. Getting that early 2-star unit is also going to have it out with for Mirage, courtesy of that solitary level 1 Leona as well, which in turn is giving you the double Guardian alongside Brawl. So it's interesting to see the little pivot in terms of new units coming in, something a little bit different to the norm, and it's going to go up against the norm. It's the Siphon Silas front line with the Corki firing from the backside.
Unfortunately, Corki is going to get stunned by the Sona, so we'll be sitting out a little bit around. The cast from the Deja is enough to put the Corki down to half, but Siphon doesn't make an additional charge. Deja remains more or less untouched. aka Magic, a big L for them, which could send them out, and it will.
Yeah, that's going to be 7th place. Stana, meanwhile, continuing to pick up the wins, staying strong, meaning it's more and more likely the Stana who came in on about 27 points will be pushing their way through to tomorrow.
Well, aka Magic definitely will not be as one of the players who were on the bubble in the game. 7th is definitely not good enough. We're looking to Vulpix, we're looking to brubbba to try and better their fortunes. Brubbba sitting pretty in the middle of the pack, but as you said, even the middle here probably won't be good enough for our bubble players. They need to be topping the lobby.
Which Mirage buff was it we were seeing this time round?
Duelist.
Duelist, yes. So that does explain why we're getting just so much insane speed coming in. Okay, here we go again, getting an opportunity to watch Shyvana and the Zaya trying to rip through multiple targets. Shyvana going to find a multi-man knockup. Meanwhile, the Feather Recall will rip through the front line on the recall. Tempered Fate comes in, does delay the Rage Wings for a little while. Shyvana looking to get the Flame Breath one more time, one more attack, and here come the flames. The damage burning down on towards the Sona. Zaya, meanwhile, on the bottom right corner, doing everything they can to duel it out against their namesake, and it is going to be enough to take down Shyvana, to take down their alternate. Decisive Wave drops lower and lower. Stana survives for a little while longer.
Oh my gosh, that was so ridiculous! Normally you need to have the Quicksilver on the side to stop them from spending the entire round CC'd, but instead of getting CC'd, everybody else on their board got CC'd repeatedly, and the Zaya stayed on the very outside of every single one of the effects and was able to DPS the entire round. So that means Decisive is in a bit of a tight spot here. They did come into this round on 29 points, so they are pretty much safe whatever happens. But Stana has a chance to knock them down and push further up. As we'll check in now with brubbba, who again,
that's exactly where I want to go, Peter, because this is one of two players who we're really following, and it is one of two players who have had polar opposite mid games. Vulpix has found the win streak and is now top. brubbba, meanwhile, who had such a long win streak in the early game, has fallen afoul of everybody else and looks like they might get pushed outside of the top 4.
They have got a very good last second pickup though, the Zoe 2, and we've got a carry Shyvana. Slicks, they've got their board pretty spread out to make this a little bit less vulnerable. We'll keep an eye out where that Shyvana ends up landing. Zoe will be doing a lot of support work from the back. The Shyvana can attack unattended. Then Slicks is in major trouble. Their backline explodes immediately, but Xiaoyu still stands.
Xiaoyu has been playing Dragon Slayer all day long. We started the game with a 3-star version wreaking havoc, and now it is going to be the 2-star fully itemized that just continues to beat down on the opposition. One last blast coming out of Daisy, coming out of those tempests. Daisy will get a bit of damage down versus Anivia. Doesn't quite do the work. brubbba takes a loss, but it's not a significant one.
One of my favorite things I read on Reddit recently was the reasoning behind the Daisy nerf, because we saw there that Daisy actually does if you can get her to, if you can cast Daisy when she's already active, she'll use her smash, and the numbers on that smash were actually really high, to the point where if you itemize Zoe for AP, she would just kill whole lines of people with Daisy. So I think that ended up actually happening to Mort directly, and then the patch afterwards immediately got nerfed.
Oh, a real quick sell there in order to be able to bring Sona up to 2-star, pop the Thieves gloves on. Itemization has gone too kindly for brubbba, who needs to pick up a win against Stana here. This is a battle between two players at different ends of the table coming in today. brubbba needs the win probably more than Stana does. This is brubbba looking good at the moment. Shyvana finding so much early damage, and without a Shoyu to rip through the Shyvana, surely there's no one on Stana's lineup who can take them down, or vice versa, depending on whose champions are whose. It's hard to tell because of where they position their little legends. Stana gets the worst of it. brubbba takes the win, as I quite rightly predicted they would.
So just to provide some explanation there, for us League of Legends play-by-plays, normally you only have to deal with, 10 people total. In League of Legends, oh my gosh, you've got to deal with 16, 17, 18 in some cases, so losing track of who is who is very much more forgivable. But yeah, I mean, Decisivewaytft is out of there. They probably, are completely fine with having a weak end of day because they had an extremely strong start of day. But what they do open is up opportunity again for our players looking to better themselves. brubbba, one of them. Stana is not going to be part of it, but let's see. So Magic.
No, Stana's done okay, I think, with 5th place.
Oh, sorry, I meant in part of the, the points in contention.
I thought you meant going towards tomorrow.
So Magic is definitely gone. brubbba is staying relatively strong still with a chance, and Vulpix is up at the very top of the table, just hitting a 2-star. Shyvana as well, level 9. They found their ultimate version of the comp, and a Yasuo too as well.
Oh, huge upgrades coming in for almost everybody as we hit stage 6. This is getting pretty tense. Vulpix needs to continue picking up these wins, needs to stay up in the top 2. They want to find their way through to tomorrow.
brubbba is going to get the 2-star Shyvana in, which is crucial. Fortunately, doesn't get hit with a Shroud, which makes a huge difference now with increased Shyvana mana pool. Instead, she takes to the skies, lands, and will tear through so many of our Cavalier friends. Vulpix is now reduced down to just the Yasuo and the Deja with a Soraka firing in from the back. But she does cast, she's going to be doing more, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Vulpix, they're up on the top of the heap.
Yasuo doing absolute work with the last breath. Now Deja can 1v1 the Sona all day long. What a turnaround for Vulpix.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was definitely theirs. Oh, jeez.
That's a massive, massive moment for both Vulpix and brubbba. It could be a fight that is the difference between one of them going through to tomorrow and the other not.
Yeah, brubbba's going to be feeling pretty sore about that one. We've been seeing the Shyvana doing so well because we've been seeing some of these comps where most of the damage dealers are being lined up on the backline. And again, Shyvana targets the biggest group. And if that's the backliners, she destroys your damage dealers immediately.
Well, they're going to have the opportunity to do that now as they go up against Temlozz, who has been win streaking. This is a win brubbba so desperately needs. Will they be able to find it? They go up against Deja again. This time it is going to be a drop straight from Shyvana onto the head of the Deja, but the flame spitting is not doing quite enough damage just yet. The knockup is however, and Deja is dead. Shyvana is alive. brubbba still alive in this competition. Temlozz loses the win streak and drops to 4 health.
Oh my gosh.
How's the other fight?
Oh, it's still going on. I didn't even realize. Slicks against Vulpix, and Slicks takes the L. Vulpix is still
going to do this. That's all I have to say on the matter.
Pronouns, they are not my friend. Vulpix, they're still up on level 9. They still got the world's most absurd board. While they don't have a new 3 quite yet, they're on the trajectory for first by a long way.
Vulpix with a first. Again, I don't want to make statements like they're going through to tomorrow because of the points, because I haven't seen exactly where things are. I haven't seen the other 3 lobbies, but they certainly give themselves a damn good chance. brubbba, if they can get to second or first, I think the same is true for them. Things are so tight and tense. Temlozz against Vulpix. This could be the end of the road for Temlozz if Vulpix continues the trajectory is on form. It's Deja versus Deja action. It's going to be the Rage Blade going up against the Giant Slayer. Both of them going untouched so far, but the Cavaliers now managing to turn their attention towards the Deja. That takes Temlozz out of contention. brubbba, meanwhile, trying to survive. Shyvana doing what they can up against the opposition. It's going to be Shoyu trying to batter through to the fences and being unsuccessful. Slicks drop to 5 HP. They're level with brubbba. This is intense.
Oh my gosh. What a run this will be for Vulpix. As you said, they're still not guaranteed to make it through tomorrow, even if they get a first. But a first is the best they can do right now. Brubbba is still holding on tenaciously. Vulpix coming in with 20 points, Brubbba with 21. The cutoff coming into the round was 22 points. So it's on the knife edge. We still don't know how the other lobbies are going to factor into this one.
Of course.
And honestly, there's a good chance by the end of the day, we won't even necessarily have our complete results. But we'll try and keep you guys up as updated as we can.
I'm surprised we didn't see that Mirage trait picked up there and actually just ignored for some of the damaging and some of the more protective items coming into what could be the last fight, depending on who faces who. This is just so incredibly tense. Vulpix has the opportunity to end the dream of Brubbba if they face off against them. And that's what's happening!
Oh, up against, instead, the death ball that is Vulpix's come. Shyvana is everything, being taken down to 2/3 immediately. Has got the breath, but it's not going the right direction.
Oh, Deja's going untouched, but gets caught by the Tempered Fate. That's enough to turn things around in favour of Brubbba, but Deja still firing. Going to be able to throw another ultimate through the back of the Shyvana, who finds another Flame Breath, but still not targeting the opposition Dragon. But finds the kill. Gets the kill onto the Dragon of Vulpix. The Shyvana, again, is going to outlast. Brubbba will come into the final two against Vulpix, who they just vanquished. Slicks will drop off despite the cheeky take of the Zoe on the last carousel. And Vulpix now is secured in first or second. Brubbba is now secured in first or second. Ooh. But let's not beat about the bush counterfeit. First or second, whichever it is, could be the difference between them going through or not going through to tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, for Brubbba, they've got one more point overall. It could well be that Vulpix could win out here and still not have enough, and also keep Brubbba from making it through to day 2 as well, which would be an absolute heartbreaker. Let's clash again. Vulpix has the lives in the bank to absorb a loss. Brubbba has nothing left.
Brubbba has just got absolutely nothing to defend against this Shyvana with, apart from a Deja. The Deja is finding good damage, but has not been able to kill off the Shyvana. Brubbba, sorry, I got the champion, the summoners wrong way around, but the statements remained true. Shyvana outlasted Deja, and that was enough for Brubbba to find a win streak.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I love it when Twitch chat actually compliments the casters.
I know! That doesn't happen. See, that's the problem. The second you put your happiness in somebody else's hands, It all goes to pot. We do appreciate you guys being nice, so that never happens on Twitch. So, the thing is, for any of you potential casters up there, I've seen some amazing casters being run down by Twitch chats. I always try and say, you're in good company if the Twitch chat calls you bad. When they call you good, I don't know what to do with that. So we're just focusing on Vulpix, who's hit 3-star Nunu and a Willem. Vulpix has hit their pinnacle comp. I generally don't think they can get meaningfully stronger up against Brubbba, who's just hit Yasuo 2. We're in for the fight of our lives in the last game of the day.
Big items coming in from the two Thieves Gloves. Almost perfect items there for the Nico to find some kind of just damning Vulpix out of any ability to start this round strongly. Shyvana almost certainly will be able to ascend and get some kind of big damage down. Can they get onto the Danger? Vulpix is now in danger. One laser goes through Danger. The Flame Breath starts to breathe, but it's not going towards the opposition Dragon. Another Final Spark hits courtesy of Zoe, who's going untouched. A third Final Spark rips through the Danger, and Vulpix is being incinerated.
Even with the Nunu 3, it wasn't enough. We come down to single digits on both sides of the board. Now it's on Vulpix to change up what they're doing for the final round of play. I don't think they've got anything left in the tank, though. They can't get any stronger. Brubbba on 5 HP. They have come back so far. Remember, 21 points versus Vulpix 20. One of these two surely deserves tomorrow.
The Thieves' Gloves have not been as kind to Nico this time, but they've been far kinder to the Yone. There's even a Shroud they can put out as soon as they realise where the unit is that they want to block out. They block out onto the Danger perfectly, and this is what brubbba needed. Again, the final sparks coming out. Nice RNG coming in for Zoe. Shyvana having a Center Skies, finds a knock-up onto 3 near the front lines. Another final spark rains down. The Tempered Fate catches onto multiple people in brubba's team, and Vulpix is able to find Deja some damage. This is a fight to the death. This is a fight for first place. This could be a fight for who finds it tomorrow, and with yet another final spark, it is the last breath of Vulpix. Yasuo will do their best to find those last breath ultimates, to find knockups onto Shyvana, but with the flames breathing down, it's not enough. Vulpix dies, brubbba lives, and they will be your first and second places in our final game of the day.
Oh my lord. I think once that Edge of Night came out on the Shyvana, it was just never going to happen. When you're in a setup there where Deja needs to get